Can you hear?
Okay.
I'll send you the link as well.
Okay, why not iTunes?
I saw a pretty lady walking down the road, feeling lost and all alone. I walked up to her and I asked her, babe, what's your name? She called me Mother Nature, but I have no family. Nobody cares and no one's there to take care of me. What a brother! I'm choking on my air, have plastic in my hair. Last week there was an oil leak. Lord won't scare my forest up there, and the chorus going extinct. Oh no! Trash in my trails and dirt in my nails, no clean water to drink. I watch people die, there's a hole in the sky, and the glaciers are melting. Bring it up! Super all she could clean up with tea. Like to help you out, we'll make things pretty. There's plastic on the beach, we're cleaning. If there's something on the ground, we're sweeping. And we will not stop. We can get it all. We can get it all.
So for me, this was how I would this was how I would describe my college days. It was quite it was quite an amazing experience. It gave us something to talk about beyond how much we hated our teachers and professors and how much we hated like Loyola College and drinking on a Wednesday or working college or whatever. It gave us something more. It enabled a lot of amazing conversations around our place in the city, what we wanted to do with our life, these kinds of things. It's quite amazing. For me, it was a very, very important time for my life. Very quickly, we started understanding that, we started asking, what were we doing? We were doing cleanups. Okay, what is that? You take waste from the beach and you put it in dustbins and it goes to a landfill. And, okay, so you're basically moving waste from one place to another, which is what Swachh Bharat is actually kind of about. It's not really the core of the issue. When you talk about Swachh Bharat, you're talking about aesthetic cleanliness, which is an issue. We need to think about it a bit in more detail, and I'll come to that. I guess, again, perhaps because of some of my leanings, we started also thinking about, okay, how do we tell people about this issue? And data is an amazing, amazing kind of like way of telling people about the problem, right? So we started doing kind of like very simple stuff that didn't make too much sense from a data kind of rigor point of view, but it was very important for us nevertheless. We started walking the beach in lines, and we said, okay, when we see garbage on the left and right, we'll mark it. So when we saw a cigarette packet, when we walked from basically Elliot's Beach, that coffee, the cozy, all to the shore, we like, oh, we saw a cigarette packet, we'll mark it as 1. And we did this kind of stuff. So this was actually our first data collection in 2010. What was happening? And this number, I mean, it's kind of useless. It doesn't mean anything in the sense that you can't use it for anything. But it tells you a little bit about the problem. When we walked in Westnagar Beach from just one transect to another, and we did just that section of Westnagar Beach, we found 1,800 bits of glass, or shards of glass. We found about 8,500 bits of plastic, and about 32,000 bits of trash. It's kind of horrible, right? Like in one Westnagar, you find 32,000 bits of plastic, waste. We also started mapping it. I think this was just when I did like a small course in GIS and I was like, hey, let's map everything. And we started mapping, and this is Westnagar Beach, and all these points are where we saw trash, basically. And we said, okay, where are the garbage cans? They're there, quite far away. So we went to the corporation, we said, look, you need to put garbage cans on the beach. And only now they kind of like put a little, but it's not still as many as we need. The other thing that we kind of did is we mapped where people pee. Just because you don't want people pissing on your beach, and where do they piss so that we can do something about it. So this represents for me like our first kind of data collection drive, as kind of quality poor as it is. Then for us, the other really big part of this was a conference we organized called Talking Trash, Exposing Waste. For us, this was a big deal because we actually got a really whole bunch of people from all over India to come and talk to us about waste. We were asking questions. We were like, okay, what can we do beyond the cleanup, right? Beyond this drive as an intervention, as a cleanup intervention, what more can we do? And we said we don't really have all the answers. Let's call people and let's bring them in. And the overwhelming consensus was nobody has the answers, but it was we have trajectories that we can follow. And all those learnings from that led to this report, which I think was actually for us quite awesome as a completely volunteer-driven youth collective to put out quite a robust kind of report, I would say. And we had so basically what we did was we looked at the Adyar estuary, which is here. We looked at this stretch of beach. It's 0.8 square kilometers. And this stretch of beach is actually very unique for us. It actually captures, in a way, the essence of the problem that Chennai has with waste management, because this is the mouth of the Adyar River. And all along the Adyar River, you have garbage being thrown into it at different points, right? So, trying to understand what waste you have here is kind of a way of telling people this systemic problem that we have about waste management. And what we did was, we walked that whole stretch, and this time what we did was, instead of capture it as waste, we captured the data as products. So we didn't say, hey, this is the big issue we have really. Like a Pepsodent, like a toothpaste thing is not a Pepsodent toothpaste thing once it's consumed. It's trash, it's waste, it's non-matter. So we said, hey, okay, let's look at what the product is after it's consumed and capture that data. So we had a whole bunch of interesting findings. In that stretch alone, we found 663 unique products. Now, this is unique products, right? It's not 10 Pepsodent toothpaste. It's one unique product. 663 different kinds of products in 0.8 square kilometers. It's quite horrible. 85% of all those products are plastic. And 54, I think, were food and drink, 97 were plastic and silver foil. This report is online, you guys can check it out. But this is the big number, 663. If you were to break it down, almost 53% of that is in food and drink. So, what's nice about this is we're implicated in this, right? We buy these food and drink products. It's not just the municipalities kind of, their prerogative to do something about it. The other thing that we did was, of course, kind of material, 60% of it is plastic, 20% of it is silver foil. Now these materials are actually quite tough to recycle. This is a big problem. The other interesting thing was we said, okay, which were the companies that made this stuff? And the top 20 companies alone actually contribute a huge number of these products. So if you were to talk to these companies and say, hey, look, manage your products. You have a responsibility to these products after they are consumed. It's called extended producer responsibility. We actually solved a huge part of this loop. Yeah, this is a school visualization. Okay, so this was for me very interesting because it points at us, what we do, right? Our consumption. This is an indication of our consumption habits and its effect on waste and its management. So the other experiment that for me was very significant in the early formation days of Kabadiwala Connect was my work with an organization called Transparent Chennai, which was incubated at IFMR. Transparent Chennai's mandate was to use data and maps to help citizens, to empower citizens to take action. So with them, I organized a big survey of one ward. You guys know what a ward is? It's kind of the smallest administrative unit in the city. So what we did was we took a bunch of volunteers and we walked one ward and we tried to look at where garbage was. Now I'm not happy with this map, I didn't make it, but this is again Adyar and this is Besnaga Beach here. So we mapped where we found garbage on the street. Now red indicates a lot of garbage, green is small clumps of garbage. But you can very clearly see that there are concentrations here, here, and here. Now, these interestingly correspond to the low income areas of this neighborhood. And again, here the go to thinking was, oh, they're poor, they don't have any, cleanliness, that's why it's dirty. Not true. Absolutely, absolutely not true. Your beach is dirty not because the fishing community lives there. The beach is dirty because a lot of people come there and throw packets and stuff, and like stuff gets washed in from the area. The assumption that the fishing community and all these lower income groups are the cause of, your streets being dirty is a horribly wrong assumption. So we said, okay, how do we visualize this? We said, okay, we mapped all the garbage bins. And in this area alone, Urukupam, you can see that all the garbage bins are broken. So X represents a garbage bin being broken or overflowing. So it's actually it's on the municipality, right, to clean up this stuff. So again here, like a kind of a systemic issue. We found a whole bunch of data. And here now this is from the governance side, right? You're talking about the government just not being able to pick up all this waste, not being able to handle it. But the larger question is, if they did pick up all the waste, where does it go? What is the kind of waste that they have? So, here's some stats. India's 5 largest cities generate more than 25,000 tons of municipal solid waste every day. 25,000 tons of municipal solid waste every day. Over 3/4 of this waste is collected and disposed of non-scientifically in open landfills. 3/4 of 25,000 tons. So for us, what do we do if we wanted to build an intervention? Where is the starting point? Right? Is it from the governance side? It's quite complex. Is it from a change in consumption and behavior? That's also quite rough. Imagine me telling you, hey, you can't buy like fruity packets anymore. Can you do that at scale? You can't. Feelings don't scale. So again, this is to contextualize that Adyar estuary. This is the waste that we found on Adyar estuary after a monsoon, when the water just basically washed back a lot of our waste. This is Chennai's waste. This is not the waste from the beach. This is Chennai's waste. Systemic. That's the word. It's a systemic issue. So we said, okay, there are so many scrap dealers in Chennai and in every Indian city that actually have come together, who have built very robust ecosystems around recycling waste. They've built these kind of like back-end infrastructures of how they handle that waste. Can we do something that helps communities send more of their recyclable stuff to them? And the visual that we had was, imagine kabadiwalas coming in here. Kabadiwalas, scrap dealers. Does everybody know what a scrap dealer and kabadiwala is? Have you guys seen them? It's these small shops on the street where they buy your waste, plastic, all of these guys.
Paper,
Plastic, cardboard, metal. And they're everywhere. Pretty much every street you've seen them. Right? Clear? So we said, what if we could get them, actually a lot of this is plastic, a lot of this is rubber, a lot of this stuff actually can be sold. In fact, you will see people walking in the streets and trying to collect stuff that has value, right? So, okay. So this is the visual that we built. And we said, can we use design and technology to solve this problem? So we built Kabadiwala Connect, which is an information service that helps the community connect to their local scrap dealer and also help track how much waste is being recycled in their neighborhood. We built it by, building a custom survey app. What's really exciting is that for us, like the time that it's taking to collect this data has just been growing exponentially. The first 200 data points we collected took 2 months. This was including survey design though. And the last 200 data points took 1 week with 6 interns from IIT. So pretty exciting. The exciting thing for us is like when you look at how many there are in your neighborhood and in the city, it's just quite amazing, like how these guys have organically grown to fill this need. And there is a huge kind of potential of using technology to connect communities to them. we have this, how we actually plan to catalyze and work with communities is something that we have, which we're actually launching in 2 weeks, called the Neighborhood Champions. And these are people who've been segregating in the neighborhood, passionate about waste, and we provide them support and information to help their larger neighborhood connect to their kabadiwala, but also handle wet waste. What's the potential? Between 91 and 2002, sorry for these old numbers, this is the data that's there. Our population grew 21%. In that time, our garbage waste generation has grown by 60%. Like I said, you know these numbers. The only other interesting thing is almost 70% of that waste is generated by residences. This is how our data platform looks. So if you have time, if you have your computer right now, please, you can open data.kabadiwalaconnect.in. And if we map your area, you can actually see your local kabadiwalas. We've provided like information on phone numbers, whether they come to your house, and you can start selling your recyclable waste to them. What's really, really amazing for us is the data. In the 560 kabadiwalas that we've mapped so far, they recycle an amazing amount of material. Over 1,000 tons of paper is recycled by them, 400 tons of plastic, 2,000 tons of metal, and 920,000 bottles every month is being recycled by a small Potikara kabadiwala. It's quite amazing when we aggregate this information. The other thing is that this data represents the primary level. These are the primary aggregators. So the way this works is waste pickers, rack pickers, communities send their waste to these guys. These are the first collection points. They're really small shops. They sell to secondary aggregators who basically have bigger shops so they can keep more volume. And then they sell to tertiary, and finally they sell it to processors. So we've only started mapping the primary set of them. And already we're seeing such numbers. So it's really exciting. We're actually now designing our survey to actually map our secondary and tertiary kind of ecosystems. The other really important thing is the amount of money, the revenue that they generate. So, would you imagine? Can you give me a number on how much you think revenue, not profit, revenue is generated per month by these primary aggregators in Chennai, in dollars? Just to be cool.
Number of waste into $20 per kilo.
Buying price, selling price of these different materials.
Buying price is free, right?
No, they pay you. You give them 200 grams of paper, they'll pay you for it.
Which is also an amazing way of scaling. You get money.
It's $1 million. $1 million.
No. Probably more like $20,000.
$20,000. Okay, 15 to 20 million dollars in the city. Primary aggregators. Revenue. Yep, that's the number. It's an amazing number. So why haven't we done anything with this, right? What's going on? The reason is, and this comes actually, I guess, like from an urban planning, urban development perspective, is this in the classical sense operates in the informal economy. You call kabadiwalas informal. And urban theory, formal planning has had a lot of trouble dealing with informality. It's a very developing world concept. So there is this thing where a lot of urban planners are very annoyed with, which says that, look, we build our cities, our Indian cities and cities in the developing world based on the models of developed cities like London, Singapore, and all these places. The experiences of those cities and these cities are very different. That is a huge thing. The reason why nobody has really done a lot of this stuff is because, nobody's thought about it. It's not in a lot of literature. It's not in a, especially if you're funded by funders from the US and all, they don't know what to do with informality. They don't know to fund this kind of stuff. So there's huge opportunity. And while you guys do your smart city workshop in the evening, context. What is it? You can put a sensor on everything. But if you don't know these guys exist, you're probably not going to put a sensor on them, right? And kind of like collect data and aggregate it and all these kinds of things. So context is key. To build a smart city, you need to know what your city is doing. And this is one of these cases where it's kind of just slipped through the gaps. And we at Kabadiwala Connect are trying to connect this back and say, hey, this is a really important way of handling waste. And can we actually think about this as a more formal way? Can this actually connect to mainstream conversations about waste management in Indian cities? It's absent. Right now when we talk about waste management,
We talk about centralized, privatized. Kabadiwala Connect and these Kabadiwalas, we're talking about decentralized, right? Private and these kinds of things. So this is a really, for us, a policy kind of implication. This is something that we're trying to push as well. Just some interesting stats, I guess, in Adyar, these guys, the oldest Kabadiwala has been in Adyar for 40 years. And if you go to our information service, you can find them. You can go on and say, hey, you're awesome, you're doing a great job. Okay, so Kabadiwala Connect is a social enterprise. How we make money is by working with designers, sourcing material from Kabadiwalas, commonly found materials, upcycling them, and building cool products. So Upcycle is an e-commerce site that we're currently is in beta development. So Ganesh over here, who runs our technology, is building it out. The other exciting thing for us is it's not just aesthetic products. It's not just glass and bottles and these kinds of things. It's also technology, e-waste, right? There's so much e-waste. Now, what if you're building an IoT solution, but your sensors are from you pulled out from, old waste? That's quite cool. You can actually build really interesting technology. In fact, Ganesh and our designer are working on a solution where you basically put a proximity sensor to a lamp and switch it and the color changes. So it's not just simple aesthetic stuff, it's also quite cool, quite complex, quite mature technology. So this is, I guess, what is this? This is a Google, the cardboard made out of cardboard. That's a 3D printer made completely out of recycled materials. That's a lamp. Yeah. Yeah. 3D printer. Cool. So what is our plan? In the short term, we're building out Upcycle. We're also helping people by selling them simple waste management products that they can use to segregate their waste and sell it to their local Kabadiwala, as well as handle their wet waste. In the long run, we see huge potential of actually connecting businesses to businesses. This is a huge market. Imagine, for $20 million only for these primary aggregators. Then businesses who need waste as raw material. There's an example of a Bangalore company who imports rubber because the rubber has too much metal in India. They import that rubber from Europe and make squash surface. So what if we work with a processor and remove that metal from that rubber and sell it to this person? Huge potential. People who want this waste or discard material as a raw material, people who want to sell it. And of course, the third thing is that we're super excited about is the fact that these Kabadiwalas, this map of 560 people, and we think that about 3,000 to 3,500 of them in the city, represent the greatest sourcing mechanism of waste ever created. It doesn't exist in developed worlds because their model moved to formal and central. For us, the Kabadiwalas have been there, the oldest guy has been there for 65 years. Now imagine if, the reason why, for example first, the reason why they don't take your silver foil, your lace packet for example, is because there's no back-end infrastructure where they sell it to. What if we set up a processor and we know where all these guys are and say, hey, when you're going out to collect, when you collect paper, collect silver foils. We will sell it for you. We know the price, we know the process. Suddenly silver foil is off your street. Thermocol will be off your street if we manage the economics of it. So that's what we're looking at. And I think that this, again, could be truly, from a disruptive point of view, very, very exciting. Our initial grant was from the World Economic Forum. I'm actively fundraising right now. And our team. So I head research, Rohit heads our business and operations, Ganesh technology, Sumana is our project manager, and Sonal, who is not here today, handles design. Thank you.
So do you want to take some questions in case of anyone? Yeah. First of all, great work. I never thought waste can be made into money, and more of also what you can bring back to the society. Secondly, I have two questions. One is, so you said you captured the locations, right? Can you tell me about what kind of sensor you used? And
There's no fancy sensor. We use a mobile phone.
Okay.
We built a simple app that uses GPS. And we've also, the key thing for us is the data that we capture. We're capturing a lot of data on the networks, on their demographics, and the kinds of materials that they take and what their selling price cost, their buying price and stuff like that. but it's a simple Android-based app that we've developed. We need the GPS, we need the phone, like the camera from the phone. That's it.
And normally, I'm assuming this Kabadiwalas are not very tech savvy. So how do you reach out to them and explain this concept and fit all these concepts?
So the Kabadiwalas are, so there are actually, a lot of them are very tech savvy, but because they also buy a lot of technology. But their main thing is like, okay, what are you doing this for? And we say we're doing this, we want to build a free information service. So once they see the value of, hey, I can get more business, they're excited to answer these questions. The robustness of the service, so we're asking about 25, 30 questions. The reason behind it is because we want to actually put a lot of data and we put in a lot of thought to try to talk about this as an ecosystem. But really for the information service, the main points are we need the phone number, we need the location, we need the name, and we need the photo, and whether they will come to your house when you call them. So that's the only data that's visualized. For context, we've also tried to aggregate information on how much paper and stuff is being sold. But Kabadiwalas are extremely, I mean, they see a value in it. You know? So we've not had actually any problem. I mean, if you will be like, hey, I'm busy now, come back later. Things like that.
You handle also transactions, like how much?
No, we don't want to handle transactions. So there are a few people who actually see a lot of value in this, and they build their revenue model around this. So they work with a few kabadiwalas and come to your house and pick up waste and things like that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to make the reason we disconnected our revenue stream from this is because we want this to be, we want to work conflict free on this ecosystem. And we don't want to be a big kabadiwala ourselves. You know, so that's something that is very important to us. Because at the end of the day, like these guys, they don't have the language that we're building now. You know, green, ecology, this is all kind of new language. And smart people capitalize on this. Hey, we'll come and pick up your computer. We'll come and pick up your this, and when they, oh, you're doing such good for the environment. They'll go and sell it to the secondary and tertiary processors and make a lot of money. Now we say instead of those guys make money, let these guys who are kind of like micro entrepreneurs, let them make the money. Let's use technology to help them and support them. That was an important starting point for us.
So you said also that you were, did you say that you were also designing products out of this base?
Yes, Upcycle. That's our revenue stream. It's called upcycle.me. We have a landing page right now, but we're actually prototyping our first set of 50 products. Basically.
And then you also connect with the other industries and who can take in this waste. And
that's, yeah, more long term, phase 2, phase 3, B2B.
We have to give some directions to individual households.
Yeah.
What is that you will say?
Segregate your waste. So it's basically like the biggest thing is like we realize that actually people, and Sumana can actually talk about this a lot more. It's basically you need to know what waste they take, what waste they don't take, and they take your dry waste, right? Recyclables. Your wet waste, which is organic, you still need to know what to do with it. So actually from our community point of view, we are actually just kind of like doing a lot of outreach on how do you handle the waste that's at your house. That for us seems to be the biggest question that people ask. I don't know if this will sell. So actually that's version 2 of our data platform gives you a whole list of what they will buy. So you can just go and say, oh, they take cardboard, they take this, they take this, they take this. I can call this person and he'll come and pick it up.
One other thing which is propagating is the idea of incinerators at apartments.
Yeah.
My wife comes from Kerala, Trivandrum. There was a big hoopla about dumping waste in a place, and set-up village just blocked the way. So then the Trivandrum Corporation came in and said, no, you can't throw waste. Okay, you have to leave your waste to your own self. So there's a profusion of incinerators coming in, which is again, it's not good for recycling, not good for anything. So how would you deal with such? Because it's easy to build an incinerator and throw stuff in, rather than me segregating it.
Yeah.
Do you see anything which is happening, or what should we do about this if something happens here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in the 5-6 years that we were working in, it's a tough thing. Like, there's this person we work with in Mangalore, and he says, sustainability equals to community. So if we're able to, and this is what we hope to achieve with these neighborhood champions. It's easy to call a guy who will just come and take all your waste. It's tougher to go to an information service, call a kabadiwala, and give your waste and segregate it. But that social transformation is still required. The goal of this technology can't just be to completely make it super easy. There is a social transformation component. That is a longer, tougher question to talk about, and it's tougher to scale, but I don't know, it's still possible. I mean, you need to work in groups and communities and catalyze that change, which is why actually we built this neighborhood champions community. That's from our learnings of people need a little bit of push and a little bit of direction for that small social proximity.
So again, adding to that last question, I've seen Goa State Pollution Control Board. So I've worked with them on a project also. So they tackle this problem pretty nicely. So they have added an incentive of revenue for you selling away. So once you know that you can earn a certain amount. So like dry waste, there's obviously clear revenue, which is high revenue. In fact, plastic bottles are very high revenue items. Then in organic waste, that is wet waste, that is your food basically. So that is done in compost. So you make manure out of it. And there are organic waste converters and all. Within 10 days, they turn your waste into manure compost. And that sells around 10 rupees a kg in Goa. So what the Goa Tangent Municipal Corporation does is, they have a city plan layout and they go household or society wise and instruct them to build their own compost pits. So every society will have compost pits for its wet waste. And the dry waste, they'll pick it up, bale it, they're baling units. So like the challenge he has, right, like chips packet. Now Kabadi wala don't pick chips packet. So what Tangent Municipal Corporation does, they pick up the chips packet, they bale it, and they sell it to cement factories in Karnataka, which use it as a blast furnace. So the problem that we realized was looking at there was segregation is the key. Because segregate your waste is very useful, and you can actually earn a lot of revenue. And many hotels like Goa as a tourist property, right? So it's
Sorry, can we take this offline so I can?
Yeah, especially one thing like, is there a possibility to expand that? The food wastage is from hotel and marriage halls, like just like they just go on out and dump it.
No, I think that connects to his point. So again, wet waste has a huge kind of like back chain to it. And there are a lot of people who fill that gap. There's a group in Bangalore and now they're in Chennai called Dairy Dump, which takes it and does the same thing, compost manure. You can actually do it yourself. You can actually compost at home and then have like an urban garden on your roof. It's quite cool. Very easy. And this is kind of from us, this is the kind of support that we want to provide.
We can connect all the hotel folks.
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, people are already kind of doing some of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not happening at a very large scale. I guess if time's up, there's just one more point that I want to make. So for Upcycle, right now we've been working with a lot of designers, glass artists, people who work with paper, things like that. But we're also looking to build a community of people who are interested in technology. To look at what can we do with old technology, what kind of products can we make. So if any of you guys have that kind of inclination, get in touch with us. Okay, cool. Thank you very much.